Okay, this is getting smooth to launch the live into both Colab and Facebook. So I'm going to just I don't have a preset question. Actually, I had a question like a day and a half ago, and I didn't prep this. And unfortunately, our friend Aaron is not available. So with that, if you happen to watch this on a replay, hashtag replay is awesome. If you or a hey, did see your post, awesome, because people are in this Facebook groups particularly because they're trying to get access to the content that we're producing. So if you help them um, by commenting, then the algorithm shows it to more people. For those of you who've seen my 9 business models, the the point of the 9 business model framework may not be intuitively obvious, because I'm sure that at least to a degree, it looks like thinking about thinking for the sake of thinking. At one point, as I was developing what is now 9 business models, I was at 12 to 15 and looking at possibly 18. And there's a reason they're in increments of 3. Um, and there became a point where it was too granular to be practical. It was like I was trying to define every single possible way to use HighLevel. And then within each of the business models, there's also the variety of where businesses are in their business journey. And I was trying to define what I now call the friction at the seams. And so instead of talking about the seams themselves, I was trying to granularize every single business model so that it stood alone. The model actually teaches more when you look at it from the point of the seams. So the perfect one is the seam between, because they're literally parallel, they're literally next to each other on the chart. The seam between SwaS, business model 4, and value added affiliate, business model 2, is this little gray dashed line. And it's actually a point of friction in the real world. And so I was trying to granularize the descriptions down to the point that it removed the seam. In retrospect, when I said I just can't keep expanding the number of business models infinitely. I have to pick a number, and 6 was too small. I actually tried 7, 8, but it turned out the 9 sets of 3 end up being the correct answer. It turned out that the seam actually is a very important for either point of friction or point of value escalation, depending depending on how mature the business is. A stable, mature marketing agency sees that seam between value-added affiliate and SwaS as a upsell, downsell opportunity. I'm trying to sell you SwaS, but if you don't want SwaS, here's my affiliate link with my snapshot as the bonus. And then you're on your own. Or I'm marketing my affiliate link, but I say, oh, by the way, if you want to get my SwaS instead, here's what the additional ongoing services look like. Here's the reason you should subscribe to my SwaS instead of just using my affiliate link. Another example of where the seam is very telling is the seam between the 2 affiliate models, pure affiliate and value-added affiliate. I saw a question yesterday on Actually, I don't think it was on Facebook. I think it was in HighLevel's official collab group. And the question was something like, what support should I be getting from my affiliate? And the value added affiliates, their message is, I'm going to provide you support. That's the value added. But there's no legal, technical, contractual obligation for them to do so. That's just their marketing message. The pure affiliate, and this is the reason it became very valuable to separate them, was the pure affiliate is literally saying, I'm talking, I'm attracting attention, I'm attracting an audience, I'm attracting an audience. Oh, by the way, here's my affiliate link. There's no obligation. They have incurred no obligation. So they might have a lot of content that revolves around how to use HighLevel, but they have no obligation to help their affiliate actually implement HighLevel. Does that mean they shouldn't? No, that means they absolutely can, should. They have that option. They might actually have a model that's a business model 7 coaching, where here's my affiliate link. If you like my content, you should sign up for HighLevel. Oh, by the way, I also run a coaching program. If you want to sign up for my private coaching group, that's a different thing. And then I help you out of that lane, help you implement. So this is turning into a mini teaching on the 9 business models framework. And one of the points of the framework is that there's 4 different marketing agency models on the framework. They are business model 3, SaaS, business model 4, SwaS, business model 5, the marketing department, the outsourced marketing department, the fractional CMO, and then there's the business model 6, which is the pure marketing agency or traditional marketing agency. And they're actually very closely, they're linearly related to each other. They exist on a continuum. And that continuum is the degree of engagement by the client. In a pure traditional marketing agency, if someone hired a Madison Avenue marketing agency, they would build an ad campaign. They would say, this is how many thousands of dollars it is, tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of dollars it is. They would build the ad campaign, they would run the ad campaign, and the phone would ring, and the data would be tracked because they ran through tracking numbers. Done and done. Whatever outcome that affects on the client is not part of the contract. It's not part of the agreement. The marketing agency's responsibility is to do the thing. So, yes, in business model 5, the marketing department is responsible to the business owner to do the thing. So instead of being responsible to the contract to fulfill the terms of the contract, the difference, and this is why it became necessary to separate these two. In the marketing partnership, business model 5 is where the friend zone, you're my marketing guy, creeps in unintentionally. People on the marketing agency side who think they're offering marketing services often get pulled into this marketing department. Make a decision for me. The question gets framed as, what do you recommend? But the expectation is, make a decision for me. I don't have time to think about it. I gotta go bake cakes, or I gotta go sew clothes, or I need to go repair cars or climb on roofs, whatever the thing is. You tell me what to do. You've slid out of marketing agency and into the role of the marketing department. role of the marketing officer in a company that can't afford a marketing officer and can't afford 5 people full-time staff members in the marketing department. So agencies offer business model what they imagine using my framework. They imagine it as whatever they call the marketing agency. I call it business model 6. Or they think they're offering a productized service, SwaS. Business model 4 is a productized package of services. So the client subscribes to the platform, the white label platform typically, which comes with some specific industry niche specific functionalities that make it more valuable than a subscription directly to HighLevel through the affiliate model. But the agency has in mind, our productized service comes along with, I'm going to manage this particular direct response campaign. I'm going to manage this particular database regeneration, re-energization, database reactivation campaign. The client hears, I'm going to help run your marketing. The agency might say, here's my market, here's my SwaS. It comes with it's a social media management SwaS. It comes with a package of 365 days worth of content. The client hears, I'm going to manage your social media for a year at a time. And the client has business model 5 level expectations when the agency expects the client to run all of their other marketing. We're only doing this one very specific thing, or 2 or 3, whatever the package is, but we are offering you a package deal that is deliberately constrained because it maximizes our cash flow for hands-on engagement. But the client hears, you're my marketing guy. And puts the agency in their mind, puts the agency back in what I call business model 5. Separating these out on the continuum, charting them on the 9 business models helps you get clarity on what you're offering to your client. Business model 3 is awesome because business model 3 to the agency is, here's my subscription to my white label software. It comes with some particular niche snapshot that customizes the software to your particular needs. But I'm not your marketing department. This is a tool that your marketing department uses to run your marketing. Fantastic business model from the agency perspective. Their job at that point is tech support only. Future upgrades and incremental improvements in the way the system operates, but they have no direct obligation to the client's marketing efforts. The client is supposed to take that set of tools and go and do their marketing. So the spectrum is the client does all their own marketing. The client gets the results of the marketing without having any active involvement in the market. The problem becomes when the client has different expectations. And so the client thinks the agency thinks that the client subscribed to their software. The client thinks they just hired a marketing guy. One of the reasons, so when I say stuck, I typically don't mean the mindset version of stuck. I don't mean already in burnout. I mean, to the extent that this results in burnout, it's because it's a predictable path. The hustle journey is a path to burnout. It's not that you're stuck because you're stuck in burnout. It's not even that you're stuck because you're in the hustle mode. it's that you're stuck underneath a ceiling and you don't know what's causing that ceiling. And what I see very often in the high level space is I can see the ceiling and the person in the churn can't see it. And so for a year, well, it's been almost 3 years since I quantified this 9 business model framework. 2.5 years. The one that I can pin is and say I know when this point was literally February of 2024. So I guess 2.5 years. So in the summer of 2023, there was a whole bunch of debate going on about SaaS versus SwaS and why. And being the analytical guy, I was like, what's the significance of this argument that's being held? And it wasn't like people were like coming to blows over it. It was people were arguing in the intellectual sense, in the debate sense of this is a superior way to do business. This is a superior way to do business. And I'm sitting there going, there's people being very successful in the traditional marketing agency. There's people very successful in the pure SaaS. There's people very successful in the affiliate model. So it cannot possibly be that one of them is inherently superior to the other. Why does someone think so adamantly that it is superior? This was a very interesting, to me, this is something that's very interesting. This is the kind of thing I think about. So in 2023, as I was thinking through this thing, I can pin February 2024. I said I was able to codify all 9 business models in a framework that stood the I've had some people say, well, what about this? Well, okay, that's a hybrid, and or it's a variation of, and I can point exactly how it's a variation of. And so I've had some people that have pushed back on particular ones, and I've been able to pressure test the concept well enough that I'm convinced it's good enough for the purpose that it describes. It's granular enough that it's not all just lumped in. Sell high level. How do I sell GHL? Well, there's no such thing as GHL, but when you say how do I sell GHL, there's at least 6 business models that could be. And then there's these supporting business models as well. Sell GHL. There's at least 4 business models that it could be. At least. 5 and 6, maybe those aren't selling high level. Maybe those are selling, because the product for 5 and 6 is the service. It's 4. I stand correct. But it's been pressure tested. It stood the test of different scenarios have come along, and I've looked at it. But it's only fairly recently that I realized that the actual value in the chart is the seams. The actual value in the chart is the boundaries between between the 9, because if you are a software developer, the value you bring when you're doing true business model 9 software development, developing a new app that does a new thing, or that solves a problem that exists within the high level platform, is different than business model 8 using high level to solve a problem. Applying the technology that exists in the platform as it exists. Knowing when you're crossing the line allows you to clarify the pricing that you should put on the table. Knowing when you're crossing the line between those changes who your peer competitors are and changes who your collaborators are. And it also possibly changes who your affiliates might be. Because if you can solve a problem if you can develop a software solution to a challenge, people that are doing support services in business model 8 to the other 6 business models, if you can solve a technical problem that these people are having, that's a very valuable solution. The question then becomes, how do you market it? Which is why we go back to the 9-point marketing plan. Because in each one of these 9 business models, who you want to serve, who's the target audience, what message are you going to give to them, how are you going to, what is the channel, how are you going to get that message in front of them? Those components of the marketing plan are different for each of the 9 business models. So for example, since I went off on the developer, since I spend most of my time on business model 1 through 6, one of the challenges that the developers have is, yeah, we have this app marketplace inside the platform, but if you just throw your thing in there, you name it something, you name it something actionable, because if you name it cute, no one's going to search for cute. But you name it for the action that it's going to do, but people don't know it's there, they're still not searching. So it's a really big challenge. It's a really big marketing challenge. And frankly, I've not had any business model 9 people come to me ask for help on marketing their tech solution. That'd be a fun problem to wrap my head around. Oh, I know what I want to talk about. Let me talk about AI. Okay, I'm back. So let me talk about AI as a service. There's a whole bunch of people who are, first of all, there's a whole bunch of people in the high level space, in the marketing world, in the tech space, who are in love with AI. And I would submit that that's how the service is delivered, not what the service is. So there's some people that say, well, I'm not doing software as a service, I'm doing AI as a service. Okay, what is AI? The LLM is a software. The LLM is, okay, it's a database. It's a way of interacting with the database. It's just the software. It's like trying to say that my marketing agency. So there we go. One of the things that as the granularity started trying to expand infinitely. Well, I'm a missed call text back agency versus I'm an email marketing agency versus I'm a social media management agency. Those techniques, those tools for marketing, so at one point I was trying to granularize all these possible different permutations. And the reason that the 9 business model framework stands the test is the delivery mechanism isn't what defines the agency as a company, the agency as a business, the agency as an organizational structure. It doesn't even define the offer in terms of how it's messaged. It defines the offer in terms of what the message is, and it certainly changes the flavor of the fulfillment. But those are points 6, 7, 8 of the 9-point marketing plan. Those are how you provide the service. They aren't what business the business is in. AI as a service ends up falling clearly in either SwaS or SaaS. And sometimes if it's a marketing agency business model 6, it is transparent to the client that AI, how or if AI is being used. AI is a tool that the marketing agency is using to fulfill the service. But the people who are trying to say, well, I do AI as a service, I'm an AI agency. When you dig into it, again, I looked at, should I change my business models from 9 to 10 or 9 to 11 or 9 to 12 to account for 3 or 4 different variations of an AI agency? And it turned out that no, an AI agency is either SaaS or SwaS, or sometimes the marketing department or the marketing agency, but much more rarely. Most of the people who are in love with that technology, it's because it's a hands-off technology, because it's a low human touch technology. And so typically they are, when they're talking, when they say I'm an AI agency, almost inevitably they are business model 3 or business model 4, either software, either the AI itself as the service, and the seller is then obligated to support that service, or it's AI as a service within the software with a service. It might even look more like a value-added affiliate. Oh, by the way, sign up for my HighLevel. Here's my affiliate link. Or you already have HighLevel. Cool. Here's my add-on AI agent. Okay. That's at that point, it slides more like a business model 8, a support agency. Here's my agent. You can use it in your agency, in your account, in your sub account, to do HighLevel, to run your HighLevel. And my job at that point, if I'm a business model 8, is to provide tech support for it. It's a great business model. Nothing wrong with it, but I'm convinced it's not a separate business model. It's just a product. It's a product within the business model. It would be like this. It would be like saying Nike is a shoe company, therefore they can't sell shirts. Let's just go to a thought that I've been revolving around lately as I'm trying to clarify what it is, so we talked about what the 9 business models are and why I came to bring that concept to the HighLevel. How does GHL Business Launch fit in that? Here's the issue that I believe is happening, and I see it often enough that I think it's systemic. I don't have a market survey. I don't have an assessment tool that tells me this. I don't have demographics that tell me this. I have only anecdotal observations. In each of the 9 business models, I can, off the top of my head, name probably 2 to 3 people that are effectively that are a icon of that particular, or an avatar of that particular business model. I can give you by name particular people who have enough public visibility, and that's their business model, that I can show you the core. I can map them to a particular business model. And the point is, they are the ones that have enough public visibility that they don't need my help. They're doing great. And if we took them out of this industry and put them in another industry, the odds are they would do great as well. They're that group of people that they're gonna grow wherever they're planted. They're going to succeed. Okay, so there's in any industry, in any field, in any domain, there's a handful of people who are the top performers. They're always going to rise to the top. And even if inside my 9 business models, what I would also submit is the people that I would name to as exemplars of each of those 9 business models, almost certainly they have 1 or 2 that are alternates. And in their actual business model, if we were to do a business consultation, we might find that the priorities are reversed from their public messaging. That doesn't negate the fact that the person that I would say that's the perfect example of SwaS. Well, actually, they have a downsell to value-added affiliate, or that's a perfect example of SwaS, but they actually have an upsell to a marketing department. I don't know that. It could be that their messaging is marketing department and they have a downsell to value-added affiliate. I guess that's that. I emphasize that the wrong way, but you get if you don't get my point, then ask me the question. And then there's some people who are on the struggle bus because they're on the struggle bus. So there's 10 or 15% of people who are they're doing well. They're going to be okay. And there's 10 or 15% of people who it's more a mindset issue than a structure issue. It's more a victim mentality than an opportunity issue. And I know some people that can help with mindset stuff, and this guy ain't it. I can't help you with the mindset stuff. But in the middle, whether it's 50%, 60%, 70%, the actual percentage is immaterial. There's some people who are in the feast or famine, but they're doing okay. They're struggling, but they're doing okay. Or maybe they already have an agency that has stable cash flow. There's some tensions in their client relationships, and they don't know why. And what the 9-point marketing plan might do for them is simply give them a framework of looking at the seams and saying, oh, we are messaging as if we're a marketing agency, but our offer is actually the SwaS offer. Or vice versa. We're marketing as a SwaS offer. We have great sales. And so when we get on the sales call and people understand why we're charging what we're charging, they say, oh yeah, that's worth it to me. And but the sales cycle is not as smooth as it should be, because our prices seem really high to the public, to the audience. You've induced friction because you didn't realize that your messaging sounds like one thing, even though your offer is another. And then also in that same 50, 60, 70%, you have people who they're experiencing the friction because they don't even know which of these 9 business models they're in. And so GHL Business Launch can help that first group of people by helping define where the business models and where the frictions might be happening in the way that a business is operating. And that would be a consulting kind of one-off kind of conversation, maybe 2 or 3 sessions. This other category of people is what GHL Business Launch is built for. This other group of people is people who they see the general opportunity presented by this software we call HighLevel, and they are told, go sell GHL. And they're financially constrained such they have to take any job that comes along. And really, they're operating in business model 8. They just don't know it. But they're trying to message as if they're a marketing agency, or they actually want to be a marketing agency. They're a fantastic web designer. And yet they're getting projects to do automations as a business model 8 person, and they have to take them because that's the work they're getting. And what GHL Business Launch is designed to do is help that person say, if I'm making an offer that looks like a pure affiliate business model one offer, what kind of audience do I need? How much traffic do I need to get that offer in front of enough people that enough of them will buy? Versus if I'm in business model 9 and I'm a software developer, I have great technical skills, but how do I get my message out? And who do I send that message to? Because the local tire repair shop probably doesn't care about your software that does that calculates square footage of the side of houses. Okay. So when I say stuck, I don't mean the mindset stuck. I mean hitting a ceiling, having to having a feast or famine cycle where you get a sale and then you work that project and you get to the end of the project and there's no pipeline bringing more clients in. Your ability to bring in clients is directly related to how hard you hustle to get more clients. You're playing the always be closing game. You're cold blasting all the time, and your response rates aren't 1%. Your response rates are 0.5% or 0.1%. What GHL Business Launch exists to do is help you identify how to solve the issues that are presented on the seams of the business models. I'm Keith Beshears, and I'm going to stop streaming.